What's up, guys? What's up? Today, we're doing timing charts. We're doing lessons on timing charts, and we're gonna animate in-betweens. I'll be honest, I haven't really animated a lot of in-betweens, but we're gonna do it today. So, let me just send some stuff to the few people. I wanna broadcast my live and make sure everyone knows that I'm live. How do I do that over here? I'm gonna play this one for you. Well, that's the animation we're doing right now. Got shareable link. We're gonna send it to Discord. This corner. Let's go. Alright. That sounds. Hi, Mr. Animator. Hi, Sachi Studios. What's up? We're animating Nami today. But before we get into that, let's start with timing charts, guys. Let's start with kind of like creating something for the timing charts right now. I'll make sure that I want to make sure that everything is okay over here, right? Timing charts, right? How are you guys doing? I'm gonna do timing charts lesson. Charts lessons. Okay, so I don't know about you guys, but if you've seen something like this before, this one, have you seen this one before? This is called a timing chart or a spacing chart, right? That's what it is basically. So this is what you see like a lot of people do. A1 and then A2, and they would say and over here, and then you have like 1 2 3 4. If you have kind of like 4 in between, something like that, right? Or you would see something um like a like A or B. I've seen someone do this one before. Right? Something along those lines. Or you would see someone do hi Constantinus, hey everyone. Something like A1 again, A2 again, with the like I would say A3, right? Then A2, and then they would put a triangle in there, and then you would have like a timing chart like that's looking like this 1 2 3, right? So it's half, and then half, right? Something like that, right? So yeah, how we make anatomy that make content. Imagine you will move the scene. Can you tell me how you make characters? Do you make a rough anatomy, then make a character on it, and imaginatively you move the scenes? Yes. Timing chart. Yeah, like basically I make I make a rough animation, and then I add my character to it using the model, right? Timing charts, I saw show something like that on his traditional pullers. It has rows or line numbers. I was confused. So yes, Constantinus, this is what timing charts is all about, right? This is those graph that you see, right? You will see a lot of this one being shown in the anime, especially on scenes that are less action packed, right? Meaning, if it's basically just one movement of a character turning around or a slow mo movement, right? That would be what you would see. Something like this is what. So basically, you would see this timing chart on something like a simple animation of like someone just looking up, right? Something like that, right? Because for me, for the timing charts is basically I drew this one earlier before the stream started, right? I drew this one and I drew two frames, right? Which is one, this is A1 and then this is A2, right? So this one over here is these two keyframes that I drew took me about like less than an hour, right? But then if I have a team of my own, then I would ask another person to do the in-betweens, right? And that's why we do the timing charts, is because to save ourselves some time. But if you're an animation studio by yourself, or you're doing everything your own and you cannot hire someone else, then you know you don't need timing charts. You just need to know, well, you do need timing charts so you can guide yourself. So what I'm saying is that timing charts and kind of like this one is a guide for you to be able to do your animations, right? So we're gonna discuss that right now. I just want to give you guys an example of what it looks like, which is this drawings over here, right? So yeah, this is what a timing chart looks like. It has a lot of variations, right? And this is just some of it. I can show you some drawings without some timing charts and whatnot. It's doesn't even need like all of these lines. It just sometimes it needs like something like this, right? A1 and then A2, something like that. That's fine. That's a timing chart. That means that in between A1 and A2 there would be three drawings, right? So that's it. Hello, I discovered your content a few days ago and it helped me a lot. Unfortunately, I can't follow the live because my English isn't very good. I'm Brazilian. Much success to you. Sorry, DVD. Yeah, like I'm English premium, so I don't know how would that work, but here we are. I hope once I will release this video, these live sessions on a video format, right? And then you can probably do the closed captions, right? The subtitles, right? So yeah, let's start. So there's a lot of timing charts involved, right? um I want to make sure that I take this one and then I put it here. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's for in-betweening, to make the animation look more smooth, right? So this is the reason why we're doing timing charts like this, right? So yeah, so let's start with the timing charts, right? So there's a lot of timing charts available, right? One timing chart is called an easy in. I would try my best to show it to you over here. Ease in, right? If you have like this, if you have this path right over here, and we're gonna show the guy over here, And if I am to show you guys like a character, or I want to say if like a blob character like this, how much do I charge clients for a 30-second animation? I don't like I like I can't disclose the prices I do. You might want to send me an email for that if you're interested on hiring or like getting my services, but I don't have a lot of time, so like I barely accept any commissions, but maybe soon I will start to accept commissions, right? So I already have like a client, but it's not like it's not I can't disclose my prices. Lawyer raw animations, right? So we need to discuss that a little bit in like privately, if you don't mind. So if I have like a kind of like a character over here, maybe just for maybe for the theme of the animation, right? We're gonna do Zeus from One Piece. Uh, yeah, Zeus has a hat like that. Yeah, that's Zeus. We have Zeus over here, guys, right? So ease in is basically if we have Zeus over here, and then he wants to travel in like after a second, right? Like he wants to travel. We're gonna animate this. We're gonna animate this in trees, right? So if he wants to travel, um, like towards this one after 1 second, after 1 second, right? We're gonna copy the. We're just gonna copy it, and we're gonna move him right here, right? So that's 1 second of animation, um, that he's gonna take from this point to this point, right? So that's gonna be the same. It's gonna take Zeus to travel from here to here in 1 second, right? So ease in is all about kind of like creating like he's easing into the final action, right? This is a timing chart. So if you see something like this where it's all half right here, yeah, yes. So like if you're animating different characters, do you place the character in their own folder? And if you have a different animation for the hair and you have a different animation for the body or for the face, then you will have to separate them 100%, right? So right now this is something like this, and then you have like that. You see in this is where our in between poses is gonna be, right? So ease in is basically you're easing in, you're slowing down into the action, right? So we're gonna animate Zeus coming from here to here, going here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna find like how many in betweens are here. 1 2 3 4 5 6 6 in between. So like 1 2 3. So like we're gonna animate him in trees, right? um we're gonna animate him in threes, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, one. Yeah, so give me a sec. Trying to count. Yeah, we're gonna do like seven in-betweens over here, just to make it look more impactful, right? Or yeah, no, like we're gonna do like 6. Sorry guys, can't decide. We're gonna do 6. This is ease in, and I'm gonna start here. This is the first in between. I'm gonna copy that, right? Again, I'm just showing you guys what's gonna happen when you see a time chart that looks like this, right? He's slowing down the action, meaning like the distance between the next drawing and the previous drawing is less, right? And less, right? It's not a lot. Like this is a lot of distance, right? No, this is not anticipation. It's not anticipation, man. So if we're just gonna do that, right? You see how fast he was from this. He moved right away, and then he's slowing down into the action, right? That's ease in, right? That's easing into the action. That's one of the that's basically one of the timing charts you will often see is like you're slowing down to the next pose, right? Then we need to find ease out, right? So ease out. This pose, right, would be the opposite of this one, or this timing chart would be the opposite of this one. So we're gonna do the same idea, right? And we're gonna split that in half, but this time I'm going here. Like I'm actually reducing the distance from the beginning, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if I copy Zeus again over here, and then if oh, then I'll try to make sure that like that, and then I'll make sure that I copy Zeus right here, and then you see our next post, right? Like it's still he still arrive at the next post at the same time, right? And then now the next post over here is just this distance. He's slowing into the action, meaning he's accelerating. He's going faster and faster. The more time flies by, right? So he's slowing. He's slow at the beginning and then fast at the end, right? See that? That's the difference between ease in and ease out, right? So you'll probably see a timing chart like this as well, and then the other one. This is more used when you're trying to have an acceleration pose, right? When you're trying to run, right? Before he moves fast, this is what's happening, right? So let's move on to the next timing chart, which is like all evens, right? All halves or something like that. I think that's what it's called, halves. I want to make sure that we have some space over here. Ease in and ease out, right? I want to make sure that we have some space. By the way, if you like, I have a few supporters in my Patreon right now, which is great. So, no, you draw the key poses first, and then you do the time chart. Because during the key poses time, when you're doing the key poses, you're now trying to also figure out the timing of that animation, right? The timing where you are, how long it's gonna take for that, for one pose to transition to the next pose. And then the timing chart is what you're gonna use to direct the in between, or how many drawings will there be in between, right? So that's gonna be your job, right? So Killer Cameo, what's up, bro? So yeah, so we're doing well. Like, we're just doing some timing charts, uh, like over here, man. Between keyframe labels A1 and A2, what would be the in betweens labeled? The in betweens labeled, right, would be just a little, just that this one over here. In between is often in the Japanese industry are simple dot, like commas like this, or like apostrophe, right? Some people don't even label it. They just know that, oh, once you see this mark over here, that's an in between, man. So again, let's copy this one, right? Copy, and then let's gonna move halves. I call it halves. Halves basically means that it's constant, right? I don't really want to call it halves, but it's constant, right? So I want to draw another line over here. And then now halves is gonna be 1. It's all just gonna be halves over here, right? So right now I'm in a bit of a pickle, because I'm thinking now, instead of having just 3 um like in betweens, I'm gonna have like 6 in betweens. I'm gonna have like basically 7 over here, right? So that's just the, depends on how long will it take, right? So over here, let me just remove this one. So now I may need to do one, like in twos. I may animate in twos. 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, it's not gonna work. So we're just gonna try to do it this way, man. Okay. Yo, what's up, Elasion? Are extremes and breakdowns labeled differently? Yes, extremes are often labeled with a circle, and then breakdowns are often labeled with a triangle. So that's the difference. Yeah, so now just trying to figure out, right, over here. Um we have like 7, which I don't really like the 7. So maybe we're gonna have to increase Zeus to on the other 2 animations, so that it just makes sense, right? So what I mean is that over here we're gonna have to do another pose at the beginning over here, and then add that one, so that it just makes sense, you know. Like, I just want to make it sense. So it's all balanced, right? Keys and extremes. Key drawings, baboon, is like our storytelling drawings. And keys, there's two types of keys. Key, like extreme keys and breakdown keys, right? Yeah, what's up? Biku Talks Football. We're gonna do the same over here. We're just gonna add like another frame over here for Zeus. Yeah, so let me. Okay, so I have to give me a second, guys. I'm just figuring things out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, we add that one, and then over here we add this one. So like we have 7 in between two drawings, right? And the reason why I want 7 in between drawings is because the halves is making it hard for me to not have like 6, right? And what are things to focus on for beginners? Yeah, like okay, the focus for 2D animation is always gonna be how are you gonna start animating, right? Like I have some videos that I already produced. You can always just start there. Like I have a how to animate in less than like 9 minutes or something. So yeah, visit that and then see how you like that tutorial, right? So and then now we have 7, right? Now we're gonna focus on the halves, right? So now we laid out all this theme. Now we have to just kind of like copy him. I like Zeus, by the way. He looks cool. By the way, this tutorial that I'm doing is basically an updated tutorial that Tonico Pantoja did. So if you like Tonico Pantoja, just go visit his in between timing chart video from 5 years ago. I'm just updating that for my own self so that I could show it to you. Good morning, man, from India. Like yeah. Are you in the Japanese and Crazy Apple? I'm not in the Japanese industry. Like, I'm a self-taught animator. So now, if we play all of this one, we now have this animation, right? So I'm gonna play it up until here so that we can see the difference, right? Oh, why is Zeus disappearing here? Yeah. Zeus is right here, man. There you go. Not disappearing. So these are the timing charts, right? These are the ease in, ease out, halves. We're gonna do like the card that has the curly stash. Yeah, like Sanji. Hey, they say curly stash, curly brow. Curly brow is Sanji, right? I'm not in the Japanese animation industry. I have a full-time job. I'm actually like an engineer, you know. So like my mornings, my 9 to 5 is doing something different. So I only do this at night, right? So anyway, so that's halves, right? Ease in and ease out, right? So another thing that we're gonna do is ease in and ease out, combining both of this one, right? So we're gonna do ease in and ease out. By the way, for anyone who wants to, like, so I provide this files to my Patreon members, right? So if you are a paying member on my Patreon, which I have a few right now, which I appreciate you guys. This live stream is because of the paying members on my Patreon, right? I'm just gonna plug this one. Um, this is what you're gonna see if you're a paying member. I provide the source file for anyone who wants to level up their animation, right? Sometimes, like, I do post for the free members as well. Like this one, you can just kind of like download this GIF. But if you're a paying member, if you're a Genga Warrior, I only have one tier, which is a Genga Warrior, $3 a month, right? So basically, you're gonna get the source file for any tutorial that I make. I made the keyframe animation like this last week, how to animate keyframes, and the file that I use for that animation, you can have it as a Clip Studio Paint file, right? And you get free templates for anyone who's not paying member. Like, even if you're a free member, you get this free template. You also get these brushes, this tool, and then these are the ones that I was talking about earlier for those who are just starting animation, right? This is the animation basic source file, right? So these are all the things that I've taught or showed in one of my videos in February 12, right? And then this is also how to animate, like what kind of practices you can do for yourself to level up your animation if you are a beginner and you don't know how to draw figure humans yet. This is another animation exercise source file that you can kind of like download, right? So I provide that to those who are paying members. You don't have to be a paying member, but if you really want to level up your skills and maybe you like the files that I'm providing, you kind of like you go from there, right? So this file that I'm working on right now, showing you the different timing charts, will be provided in my Patreon. So just want to kind of like shout that one out, so you know we get it out of the way, man. I gotta I gotta make sure I also kind of like get some money, right? Anyway, so right now we're gonna do ease in and ease out, and that's basically ease in and ease out is basically the combination of these two, which means we're gonna do half, right? And then we're gonna split this in half as well, right? So we now have like 5 over here, and then now we have 7, right? So this is ease in and ease out, which means it's gonna slow in, and it's gonna slow out from the movement, and then it's gonna slow into the movement, right? So if we copy Zeus over here, if and if out, right? And then we delete all of the in between frames over here, and we have like just this one. Just want to make sure that he's right at the end right here. We're gonna just adjust him, right? Slowing out of the action, and then he goes fast at the middle, right? I'm not applying anything special here. No no other what do you call this, No other principles apply to it yet, aside from just moving the spacing here and there, right? Again, we're animating in trees, by the way. You see, most natural movement ease in is accelerate, right? Ease in is decelerate. Ease out is accelerate. Ease out of the action is you're easing out of the action, right? So basically ease out. I don't really know, like, to be honest with you, Elation, like the terms like kind of lost me. All I know is that when I see it, it's one or the other, right? Because most of the time when you think about ease in and ease out, it's it goes hand in hand with one another, right? So this ease in and ease out over here tends to be more natural when it comes to like movement, right? And obviously this is only if you have a very slow, like if your action takes about, let's say, like a second to make, right? Most actions are almost like half a second or like quarter of a second, and sometimes you only need two in between drawings to connect those drawings. So I'm gonna show that to you later on, right? Once we animate Nami with Inbetweens, right? This is the animation that I did earlier, right? So we're gonna animate her using the principles that we are talking about right now, which is ease in and ease out, like all of the timing charts, right? So let's move on to the third one, right? Let's move on to the third one, guys, um, which is called thirds. Yeah, I use thirds, right? And there's a lot of ways to interpret this. We're gonna do thirds over here. Thirds is not basically, so basically thirds is all about splitting the whole line, the whole distance into thirds like this, right? And I think this is gonna be weird because I do have to make sure that I have a something in the middle right here. Like I know that's halves, but now we're gonna use thirds, right? Thirds is all about here, right? This is the third of this distance over here. Is that equal? Right? That's thirds. So wait, I'm just trying to think of how I'm gonna show this one. If I split this into three, right? I have two here, right? Can't split that in half, but I'm gonna have 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm gonna have 6. Okay, what we're gonna do is we're gonna split this in half, right? And then we're gonna split this into three thirds, right? Now we have 5. And then we're gonna have like thirds over here. Yeah, thirds is basically instead of splitting everything in halves. Yeah, because I believe one another way to call the prince is slow in and slow out. Yeah, slow in, slow out. Slow in would be slowing into the movement, which is slowing into the. So yeah, you know what, Elation, like depends on how you use it in a sentence, right? Slowing into the movement is acceleration, right? But I'm thinking slowing into the action, slowing into the pose or something like that. So again, ease in can be acceleration, but to my understanding, you're easing into the pose, right? But if you use easing into the action, you're basically accelerating into the action. Maybe I'm wrong, right? When I say easing into the pose, but it really depends on how you you tell it, because I'm easing into the pose, you know. Twos are two frames, threes. Yes, exactly. So thirds is you're kind of like splitting the distance into thirds. I know I split this in half first, and then I split that half into thirds, and then I split one portion into thirds to place this action. So thirds is a little bit um like I don't use it often because I'm more comfortable in halves. So you kind of just have to make sure that you understand what, when, and where you want to use thirds. And sometimes you just have to do trial and error. But I don't know, I've seen basically timing charts using thirds all the time, especially if you have only two in betweens, right? When you have two in betweens like that, you're gonna split this into, or if you have one. So here's the thing: if you only have one in between, like here, right? What I'm saying is that you can use thirds. You can use that third, right? Which means you only have one in between, but you're kind of favoring the other one, right? So, or you're kind of like doing thirds and then split this into three, right? One, two, three, and then split this into three, right? So that means you also are applying ease in kind of like way into, but you're using thirds, right? Instead of halves, right? So that's how I think about thirds. Um, and yeah, let's animate our friend over here, which is Zeus, right? And then we have like here. So again, we're just moving in because I just want to present to you guys how it looks like when you do this, right? So we have the same drawings, right? We have the same 9 drawings for each of this, right? We have the same 9 drawings for each of this. Oh, sorry. No way. At the end of the day, you still arrive at the same destination, right? But all of these are a little bit different in one way or the other, right? Ease in, ease out, timing charts is they're very different from one another. And I'm using the same amount of drawings, and that's basically it. Like you just have to um kind of like figure it out what works for you. But we have one more, which is the most interesting that I have learned very recently. Again, thanks to Tonico Pantoja, right? So what I'm gonna do right now, right, is I'm gonna copy one the like ease out 2. Now this is thirds, right? And then I'm gonna copy this one, and then I'm gonna call this favoring. Again, shout out to Tonico Pantoja for showing me how favoring works. I also saw someone, I think Kuzillion was the one who taught me the favoring. Well, I learned, like, I kind of learned about it before instinctively, but I'm applying the thing that I'm learning from them. This is called favoring. Favoring just means it's the same as ease in and ease out, but it's more kind of like snappy, right? It's more snappy because I'm gonna split this in half over here, but I'm like my in betweens. I may just create like probably 2 in betweens over here, right? Or maybe 3 in betweens. Like maybe I'm gonna do that. I'm favoring it, right? I'm gonna use thirds, or maybe even kind of like this one. I'm gonna use halves of that, and I'm kind of just favoring it, like very close, almost like to the end, right? So it's very close to the end, but then you see this distance over here. It's like a lot, right? This one is thirds. Just wanna make sure you guys see that visually. That's thirds. Even though the half is half, right? Anyway, so this one is like the distance over here is a little bit a lot, right? So anyway, let's move on to adding our character over here. Favoring. Let's move on to favoring, making sure that we have him over here. You have the same starting position here. And then we're gonna end the ending position right here. Again, same distance, almost same distance, right? And then we're gonna favor this pose over here, almost like that. I like favoring when I'm doing like very snappy movement. To add impact, depends on the action too, right? And you don't need all of these drawings. I'm just showing you because I want to kind of like keep it consistent that it takes about 9 drawings, right? So favoring for me is like really snappy, right? It's almost the same as ease in and ease out, but ease in and ease out is more like it's the same as favoring in a way, but in an extreme case, right? So favoring is putting a lot of emphasis on either easing in or ease out, but still incorporating both. Yes, favoring is like that. You don't like, again, you don't have to incorporate it. You can separate it. What I'm saying is that you see this distance over here, Elysion. This distance is not half, right? It's not half. You're just basically almost like copying the first position before you transition to a movement like this, right? Yeah, like I've learned from it from Tonico Pantoja, and Tonico Pantoja created that video from 5 years ago, you know. So anyway, this is fast forward and slow mo again. Yeah, you can. That's the best way of understanding ease in ease out, slow mo, fast forward, and the slow mo again. I mean, you can call it that way. That's a very basic thing to kind of like simplify it, but whatever works for you, right? Obviously, because I'm not really working in the animation industry, like I'm more of a visual person than a kind of like I don't, for me personally, I don't care how you call it. as long as we understand what you're trying to do. You know, even let's say Elation, we work together on a project, and I see your timing chart, and you keep calling it the opposite of how I would call it. But if that timing chart is correct, and you know, like it works, you know, that's how I see it. So I'm not really concerned too much about the term, personally. But you guys obviously, if you're working in the industry, you might need to know the proper one, right? So these are the ease in and ease out, all that stuff. Let me again. I was plugging my Patreon, but there's no link. Sorry if I have to plug my Patreon, guys, but your boys gotta have to earn. You know, your boys gotta have to make sure I eat. My dog's life is dependent on your yeah, there you go. I actually, let me unpin that. Let me undo that. What's up? What's up? Get the source file. Yeah, get the source files, and more exclusive content on my Patreon. There we go. And then let's replace pin message. There we go. And then we're gonna have to remove this one. There you go, guys. Anyway, we've been live for about an hour, but that's basically what the timing charts is all about. That's what you see in most animations, right? I'm gonna go to my friend's Discord server over here, and I'm gonna show you guys example of how this is done, right? Over here, these are a bunch of images from like me and Kai Regi, if you know him, are running a Discord server. You can also join that. In that server, we have a library called Genga Practice Material. He's the one who curated this one, so you can see all of the Genga that was produced by Slam M for the anime solo leveling, and you can see, for example, over here you can see from like an example of what a timing chart looks like. This is called halves, right? Kind of like going easing in, and this just means that there's gonna be two in between frames between 5 and 6, right? So two in between frames, maybe it's in thirds. Obviously you have to sign up a timing chart for that one to figure out like whether it's in twos or threes, but we're not talking about timing charts right now. Sorry, we're not talking about filling up um the chart or whatever. We're talking about this over here, right? So what else you can see? I'm trying to see an example over here. You see it's just halves over here, and what's basically happening in this kind of like in this animation, right? If I go from 8 A8 A9, right? He drew these two poses, right? And then he's basically telling the in-betweener that, oh, there's gonna be one in between here. And because this is a continuous movement from A8 to A11, right? Because that's a continuous movement, the in-betweener, right, will have to just make sure that that's kind of like a constant movement that's done in halves, right? Because you don't want to really create a, what do you call this? You don't want to really create something like an ease in and ease out between these two frames over here, and kind of like make the animation look a little bit kind of like like what, like it's a continuous movement. That's what I'm saying. So you gotta know what makes sense for your animation to be able to decide whether you do it in halves, you do it in ease in and ease out, you're doing it favoring or whatever, right? So let's see another example of a timing chart right here. You need 2 frames between A4 and A5, right? So that's one example, right? And this one is a lot of frames. How many? Like over here, let me see. A1 to A2, like that's a lot. Meaning, when somebody probably see this is a combination of halves and thirds, right? Because this is halves, and then he half those half, so 1/4, and each of that is now thirds, right? One, two, three thirds, right? So basically, how many in betweens are here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 drawings, right? 11 drawings for this one. Just to transition from this to this. And it's a lot, right? That's a lot of drawings, right? To like that means it's a slow mo, right? Especially if it's animated in twos in 12s. So that's gonna be like that movement in that amount of space is so slow, you know. Like I'm almost like, if it's animated in twos, maybe it's animated in threes, it's gonna take him a second to just move an inch, which doesn't make a lot of sense. But unless it's a slow mo, right? So I'm just showing you guys an example, right? For sure. What else over here we do? Here, see, this one is an kind of like a breakdown. This is what I was talking about earlier, right? From A2, he's asking the in-betweener to do a breakdown between A2 and A4, which is this triangle over here. So he's gonna start with that, and then he's gonna have to introduce three drawings between A3 and A4, right? So that's that. And then this one doesn't have a timing chart, but obviously that would make sense, or that wouldn't make, like, yeah. So this one is most of it is mostly ease in, right? Ease into the action, right? Really depends, because I think unless you are doing something like a run like this, like you will have to almost always do ease in, or if ease out, if like this thing over here, basically ease in, what I'm calling ease in, which some of you may call ease out, but easing out of the action, right? Because the action is really traveling from here to here, right? So if you say it in a different way, then what you guys are saying would make sense, right? What Elysian was saying would make sense, right? For sure. So yeah. Awesome. Anyway, now I'm gonna have to drink some water. I'm gonna have to drink some water, and then I'll be back, guys. I'll be back. Give me a sec. I'm gonna have to make you guys listen to my favorite song in my videos. But yeah, I'll be back. What's up, guys? I'm back. Yeah, so I'm gonna use this. You're gonna find. You're gonna what do you call this? You're gonna find this file. Also, one thing I wanna kind of do for the favoring before I like this favoring, right? Like I kind of wanna do a pose like that, meaning I squash squash him, right, a little bit, and created like speed lines to kind of like highlight the speed of like that moment. You see, that adds a lot. In favoring, that adds a lot, man. That quick movement is very kind of like satisfying. It's very snappy. So I kind of like doing that. So that's where we are. Let me turn down the music a little bit. But yeah, our lesson for timing charts. Again, I'm gonna make a video about this timing charts that I'm discussing with you guys. Like I'm hoping to finish it by Friday, but it looks like I will be able to. I just have to find my words on it and all this stuff, right? So I'm gonna present this to you. I'm gonna make the files available for those who are willing to, invest in their learning by subscribing to my Patreon, and then, you guys gonna have this file, plus you're gonna have this file over here, right? This is the one we're gonna be working on. And what I really want to do over here is discuss how I'm gonna tackle. So now I've shown you like the different timing charts that you see from like an anime like this, right? You see this is a third, right? This is a third. So from here he moves then that direction, right? He kind of like, so he's moving, he's easing out of the action, right? He's easing out, right? And then he's eased into this pose over here, and then it's thirds, right? So most of the time between two key poses, right? Between two key poses, you're gonna have a space that's around I don't know why it's called 78. It's 2. Yeah, anyway. So, between two poses, you're either gonna have like 6 frames in between, right? Which is this fast if I play this through. Like that is how fast it is, right? Or you're gonna have like something like this where you have half a second. For me, this movement is half a second, right? You have to determine where this key poses lies in the timeline, right? That's why you have to fill out a timing chart, right? So over here, what I'm basically saying is that for Nami to move from this direction, for Nami to move from this pose to this pose, it will take half a second, right? Half a second, which means I need about at least 3 drawings over there, if not even more, if I really want it to be a very smooth movement. But I don't need more. What I'm saying is that I can go in either 2 directions, right? I can animate it in trees and start the movement right away, which means it's gonna take half a second, the whole half a second for her to move from here to here, right? Or I'm gonna hold this frame for quarter of a second for 6 frames before she moves towards this pose over here. Either way, it's up to you, and we're gonna try it out because it's still gonna be the same 3 drawings. It's either just gonna be whether I'm animating in threes or I'm animating in twos, right? It all depends on your animation, right? It all depends on how you want it to be animated. But we're gonna do the in-betweening right now. The in-betweening is kind of like a very tedious process, if I'm being honest. And yeah, again, I'm being honest over here. I don't do my in-betweens, right? When I used to do my animation on my other channel, I basically hire someone to do the in-betweens and to do the cleanups, right? And I barely have any in-betweens in my animations. I often just animate in trees, right? So, and maybe that's the reason why my animation before was like a little bit, kind of like not where I want it to be yet, right? So when it comes to favoring, I tend to add more smears on both sides of the character because I like the fluid transitions between poses. Particles are especially common when I go for the kind of timing. Exactly. I think favoring is really, really, like, I think it's gonna benefit a lot of, like, when I talk about this one, the smears, right? Like, the smears is really, really, you see the favoring over here? Like that, like, I love that animation already, right? I didn't really change a lot, you know? I can even probably add the smear over here, if I'm being honest. Kind of like just a little bit of smear here, just to slow down, right? That works, right? Right? So, again, these are all just timing charts. Again, it really depends on the amount of space between two poses, right? So, right now, we're just gonna be animating Nami over here, right? So, the whether it's up, again, I'm gonna say this, that it's up to you how fast or how slow your movement is, when whether you want to animate in twos or threes. But I'm gonna try to show it in threes right now. Whereas this pose, I have three in betweens, right? I'm gonna do it at that frame number 4, right? I'm gonna label this one as 1, A1, right? This is at the first frame, right? And then A2, I'm gonna label it this way, okay? So that you guys can see. Like, this is A1 in the first frame, and then A2 is gonna be on the 13th frame, right? And then this is gonna be, if I wanna animate it in threes, this is gonna be in frame 4, this is gonna be in frame 7, and then this is gonna be in frame 10, right? It's threes, right? So 10, 7, and 4, right? Or if I wanna animate it in twos, this is gonna be in 7, right? Like I said, if I wanna animate it in twos, I might start the movement at 7, right? So I'm gonna hold this frame until frame 7. So if I do that, so this is twos. You know what? We're gonna do it this way. We're gonna do it this way. I already know my timing chart, so basically what I wanna do is to show you guys like a straight line over here, a straight line like that, where A1 would be right here, and then A2 is right here. And if I want to animate in threes, right, I'm gonna have to do a timing chart like this. I'm gonna have to do frame 1 is at frame 1, frame 4, frame 7, frame 10, and then frame 13. That's the frames, right? And I'm only doing it this way so that you understand that it's going up right here. She's going up, right? And if I want to animate it in twos, I'm gonna start this one at 7, 9, and then 11, right? Those are the frames, right? So I kind of want to put this separately over here so that we understand. Over here, I want to put it here, right? Frames and timing chart. So yeah, we're gonna start animating, guys. We're gonna start animating. You guys are crazy. You guys are 27 over here watching me, and no one's barely kind of like talking. So, guys, come on, like ask questions. Like let's vibe around and whatnot. Like 27 people are watching my stream right now. It's crazy for me to even think about that. But man, like you guys are amazing. So all I know, again, let's go back to here. All I know is that I want this to be animated and to have this movement be done in half a second, which is over here. This is the animation itself, right? And we're gonna have to just make sure that this A1 is right here, that it doesn't, and then this A2 is right here, right? So now if I start it, so now here's the thing with in-betweening, right? You have to kind of like just know. Hey Flavio Costa, how are you, man? Uh, Brazil is Portuguese. I don't know how you say Portuguese in hello. Hello in Portuguese. Like hola, hola. That's how you say it, I guess. Hola, right? So, yeah. Anyway, let's do in-betweens, right? Again, knowing that this is our timing chart, right? We're gonna have to do and create like our track label over here. Create an in-between track label, right? I'm gonna create I'm gonna do this in trees, right? So this is where I want to put my track label, right? So my in-betweens, this is gonna be frame 4, which is over here. Now here's the thing, you cannot really start from doing any random thing. You gotta start towards the in-between. When you're doing in-between, you're gonna start to do 4 first, because the 4 is gonna be a half between A1 and A2, which means the distance of the everything will be half from A1 to A2. Your reference is A1 and A2, right? So if that is your reference, you will not be able to do 7 or 10 or like these two in-betweens over here at frame 7 or 10, because you don't know the reference. You haven't done 4 yet, right? So 4 is a reference. 4 will be using A1 and A2. So that is where we're gonna do right now, right? So I'm gonna create an in-between over here, an in-between frame that's obviously you don't see right now, and I'm gonna turn on the onion skin, right? So now I'm gonna start with the chin, right? And what I'm gonna probably do is I'm gonna create a raster layer for my sketch over here. And I like my sketch to be orange, so I know I'm working on the sketch file, right? So right now I know the eyes is I don't want to complicate it too much, so we're gonna be using a lot of techniques right now to be able to do this and work it out, right? So right now I'm looking at the distance between these two this chin over here. So I'm marking down the half, right? That is half, right? So I know that this is the kind of like where this point is, and this point is also where that is. So I'm gonna do what half. So that's half, right? So now I know that this is where my line for the chin is gonna be, right? I'm gonna do that. Gonna make sure that's actually half. Alright? And I'm gonna do the same as the other one, right? And again, I don't really know if I'm doing this in a matter of like proper way, right? But this is how you do in between. Again, I haven't done a lot of in between in my life because I tend to do fast action and all that stuff, or I tend to hire someone who's doing in betweens and whatnot. So yeah, just want to make sure that's out of the way. But yeah, we're just gonna work this out on all of this posts, and obviously I'm flipping, right? I'm flipping my drawing over here to kind of like know where everything is at, right? My like this is the distance between the mouth, right? And then I think it's only gonna be at the end where she actually opens her eyes, right? I'm not gonna I'm gonna hold the eyes closed here because I want the eyes to be snappy. So you can, in short way, it's not it's possible. It is possible to do it that way, and that's why I'm gonna show it to you, like the techniques I'm gonna do, to make this process a little bit bearable, right? Right now I'm just doing it kind of like um I'm doing it kind of like properly first so that you guys could understand, oh, this is how you do it kind of like properly. Right now I place the eyes where, you see how the eyes are kind of like, oh, that's not where it's supposed to be. But I copy that, or I trace that so that I know exactly like that so I could follow the proportions of my drawing, right? Now I'm gonna place it in between over here. And sometimes you have to turn off the onion skin too to make it sense, right? But yeah, you definitely can do that, man. Like Kairegi is the one who did the this course, this in-betweening course, right? So he would know more about in-betweens than I do. So if you need more help about this one, this process, yeah, you definitely can kind of like go to his streams and go from there, right? So sometimes you kind of just have to adjust your drawing to make sure it follows, right? The tip of the nose is right here. That's the tip of the nose, and then the tip of the nose is here, so it's probably here, right? Solo Silas, yeah. Shoot, man. It's hard to make it natural though, and there's an art in it, so being good at it isn't always based on how efficient you can be. Yes, exactly. There's an art in between, so you really have to know when to sacrifice, um, quality in betweens, because again, if you think about it, this in between is gonna be shown in 3 frames, right? No, my day job is actually like an engineer, bro. So I'm an engineer, and I was like just designing some roads a while ago. Yeah, there's an art in betweening, which now I'm starting to find, um what do you call this? Which now I'm starting to have a lot more appreciation to the art of in betweening, right? Because now I have a lot of this drawing, so maybe what I can do is to turn off everything, right? Turn off all my other layers, all the shadows, all the blue ones, right? And then just do. You see, now it's clean. It's all just the black layer over here, right? Now I'm just dealing with the black layer, right? So which which makes it a lot easier to track, right? Because now I can see that over here I have this one and this one, so I can probably create that hair over here. Just cannot be random, right? You have to find this one, so this one kind of like, and that's why I'm sketching it right now, right? It's not really my finalized drawing, so in the next one I'll probably use a lot more, the technique that I want to kind of like show you, which is copy paste, right? So, and then modify it, right? Just you see right now, kind of just have to follow some stuff over here, and sometimes it cannot be straight, um straight up, uh like in the middle of the pose, right? Sometimes you just have to adjust it. So you see right here and right here, so maybe that's the half, but we'll see. We'll see how it looks like, right? So now you now have this line over here, this line and this line, and this is an intersecting line over here. So do you really want to keep that, or what, right? That's really is like, also that is also something that you might want to do, kind of like a wave principle. So let's see how I could problem solve this one, right? So all you know that it's gonna come through here, the hair is gonna come through that, right? I know that for sure. And then now I want to make the hair kind of like stay over here a bit, favoring that one, because even though I'm saying that, oh, it's supposed to be half, some parts of the body doesn't move in half, right? Like the hair for sure. Sometimes, like it tends to do, it tends to stay a little bit longer in some cases, right? Again, that's why I have a sketch over here so that I could always just check what's going on, and then I kind of just have to adjust it, right? Again, there's an art to in-betweening, like Elation said, right? Sometimes you have to flip, right? And see if that works. Yes, I'm Filipino, Ronel. I'm born and raised in the Philippines, but I don't live in the Philippines. I live in Canada. It's nighttime over here. So now I'm going back to... So I'm trying to figure out, again, a lot of this is trying to figure out the post, right? And that's okay if you're sketching, right? And that's the reason why I have a sketch layer over here. So this is the start, this is the end. I just have to make that curve over there, right? Yeah, I have a thick accent, man. So yeah, at least we're now done to the... We're now done on most of the parts over here. Kind of like the major parts, right? Now we just have to connect it. Again, it still needs to make sense though. We know that this is the half of it. Yeah, if I'm being honest, guys, this is the first time I'm doing in-betweens. So I'm just challenging myself right now, man. Okay, Kai is the expert on in-betweening, man. Like he did the whole course of someone doing the... You see, some of the parts are not totally half, but that's okay. At the end of the day, you gotta... Is the drawing look good? I think that's the question you always have to answer. Does the drawing make sense? It's not too far off, right? So if we play this through, that's fine. So again, her neck is something good. What's going on with the neck right over here and over here? It's kind of like in between here, right? Even though I do have this, the in between, I'm still flipping, guys. Like, I'm just used to flipping. Then I have that one. When the lines are clear like this, it's very easy, you know, to have that distinction. And then you see these lines over here. Now you see this is a sketch one, right? And what I'm gonna do later on is to actually show you that if these are two lines that are almost like identical to each other, like there's a way to just copy it so that it doesn't look bad, right? Because you don't want to kind of like draw a line that's wonky. My goal is there, yeah, like this may be not the, like I haven't learned professional in betweening yet. Like I need to spend that time to actually um take that course. I have access to that course, so like this is not an easy task to do, man. And that's why I'm sketching it. Why you are not unpegging it? What do you mean unpegging? Yeah, Elysion, like I'll see you around in your freaking cool animation, bro. What do you mean why unpegging it? Like why do I need to unpeg it? Are you talking about the light table? I don't use the light table, bro. Sorry. I don't know how to use it. For in-betweeners, I might need to learn how to use it though, but I don't really want to be an in-betweener. I want to be more of kind of like a I guess a direct, yeah. See, I'm pretty stoked and happy with this drawing, right? But that's just one in between so far, right? Now let's keep moving, right? Let's keep moving. Do I have to really clean this up right now? I don't, right? But one thing I want to do right now is to, now I'm happy how that works, right? I'm really happy with how that works. So I'm gonna turn off this onion skin, right? I'm gonna turn the opacity for that, and then I'm gonna use my own proprietary, not proprietary, my template over here to use to retrace all of this stuff, right? So I'm using 4, right? I draw my lines like this because I like the flow of it, but you can always use your kind of like curve tools and whatnot. I just like drawing it, that's why I sketch it first. You see, if you're working in the industry, these lines needs to be kind of like really, when you're cleaning it up, this needs to be really good. So let's see, I'm gonna try this Genga curve too, which I'm gonna make available for my Patreon members, right? So what, like, this is kind of like a sketch version, like this is the curve tool version of my sketch um file over my sketch brush over here. So um I haven't used this tool in such a long time, man. Then enter. Right, you see how that is, and then I'm gonna have to just edit it. Maybe I'm gonna have to do 4 or 3. And then maybe I'll just add my lines over here. Like, this is not quite where I want it to be, so maybe I need to do the kind of like edit, right? I don't work on a studio, Ronel. Somebody already just said, ask me, my day job is not animation, man. My day job is an engineer. So, yeah. I don't know how to edit the tool, so like I'm just gonna do this one until I get this right. I didn't get it right. Yeah, that one is like a little bit more perfect, right? Yeah, so we're just now cleaning up our drawings over here. Now here's the thing. Am I gonna add the shadows over here? Probably not. It's Inbetweens, right? So I may have to some point, but the whole point is to show you how you in between drawings like this, right? I'm still at the Genga phase, by the way. I haven't done the I'm not in the cleanup phase yet, like the actual cleanup phase, where I'm cleaning up my file, my drawing to the point that I am also doing the coloring, right? What I'm really struggling with when cleaning up my drawings or whatever, are the drawings that tend to be the lines that tend to be like big lines. That's the most struggle I'm having. I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one with that sentiment. Yeah, this is why it's important to have like the sketch, just to kind of like map everything out. Because now it's a lot easier for me to do this process of in betweening, right? And again, there's a lot, like there may be a better way of doing it. Um, because I still have to learn the proper way of doing it. But to my understanding, to my base knowledge of how in betweening works, this is how professionals do it, right? This is how I see professionals do it. There's a huge difference, right? How they actually do it, I don't know, man. You see, now I'm at that point where, oh, you see the difference between this thing and this thing. That is not a lot of difference, right? And I don't want to spend a lot of time with that, trying to figure out whether. So I'm just gonna grab this one, then I'm gonna copy paste it, and then I'm gonna actually edit it so that it's in between my two drawings, right? So I'm happy with that. You know, like over here it's not too bad, but there are times where I would do that because the curve is not. Sometimes the curve is not curving, right? If it's shorter line like this, like for example this curve, man, like I don't wanna spend too much time curving that one out, so I'm just gonna edit that one, right? Sometimes you have to just figure out how to edit it, edit the line properly, and it's gonna fix itself, right? Sometimes the edit like doesn't really work, like you're editing, right? So depends on how accurate that line that you created in the first place is, right? But in betweening like this is actually very therapeutic, just tracing the lines, you know. It's actually, I like it. Are we done with the first drawing? Yeah, we're done. I think we just have to do this one. And we're done with the first drawing. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab this one. And then I'm going to the matte layer over here. And then I'm gonna turn off the... I'm gonna use this magic free tool that I have. And then do that, right? And turn off the this sketch layer, and then that's my in between, right? So now let's play the animation. Hey In Boots, how are you, man? Yeah, because we're doing this in threes, it kind of looks like he paused in the in between, right? Again, that's just like you just gotta have to play this out and then like do this properly, right? So we're gonna have to put an X over here. Now there's already an X there, right? So, but what if we put this over here, the frame, right? We can just delete track label over here and delete track label over here. Actually, we don't have to delete the track label over there. What if we do it in twos, right? then we kind of like just delete track label, and then we do yeah. So we delete that track label because we know now that there's an in between here. Like not too shabby. The in between drawing over here is not too bad, right? Now it kind of like moving along, right? It's moving kind of like the way I want it to be, right? But now we're doing in twos, right? This is in frame 7. So we're gonna move on, and then we're gonna do another. Now we're gonna do two more poses, right? It's almost 9 right now. Give me a sec. Give me a sec. I'm gonna turn on this one so you see that this is the Ganga version of it, right? And then the in between doesn't have the shadow and the feels. Yeah, I was muted. I was muted. Yeah, I was just resting, man. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So these are my Patreons. So I just want to kind of like shout them out. You know, being a great help for me. Just put that somewhere over here so that it's not all over your face. Because now we're gonna move on to drawing the rest of the Genga, right? The rest of the in-betweens. Something like that. Okay. Now, let's move on. Let's move on, guys. Let's move on to the next in-between, which is over here. We're gonna place it over here. And now we're at the animating it in twos, right? So over here, I'm gonna turn off again the whole, like on this one. I'm gonna turn off all my other, like my the way this whole thing, that the whole coloring process over here, the whole Genga colors. I'm gonna turn this off. Just the line art and like this one, because now what happened is, really, now I have a reference to do my next in between over here. I have the reference that I put in this frame, which is this one. This is now, think about it, now this is now a 1A, right? Frame 1A, and now this is frame 1B, and if that follows along, this is frame 1C. 1B over here is this frame, and for me to be able to draw 1B, I need 1A and A2, and I'm gonna do it like in halves again, right? So now I want to kind of do and skip the whole sketching process. Not really, but I just want to show you guys that, oh, you can do that, right? So meaning I can go here, grab this line, right? And then copy that line in my line art layer over here, right? And then I can just adjust it a little bit, or like even draw, like make sure that, oh, okay, this in between over here, and maybe just add, like, I'm in control, guys. Like, this doesn't look good, this line doesn't look good, so what I'm gonna do is I'm probably just gonna draw that line. Now it looks a little bit better, at least for me, right? So maybe I want to copy the nose over here. Kind of want to copy the nose from the actual keyframe. This is the keyframe that we have, right? And then we know that that's in between over there, and that's what I want to copy the mouth over here, and then this one. And the eyes, I really can't copy the eyes for now, so I'm gonna just do a sketch over here, right? Because I wanna do kind of like a half opened eyes, right? But I'm favoring the close position at this point. And I'm tracing it right now because, you know, why not? Somebody shouting me out with animation reviews. Cabron, yeah, Carbon. So Carbon message us in our Discord server. Yeah. So let's just move on, let's move on, you know. I'm actually getting hungry, so let's see if I'm gonna have to finish this drawing and then I'll eat and then finish our whole animation, right? Let's see if this is recorded. Time lapse, this is recorded, so we're good. Just want to make sure that we have kind of like footage for our video. We need to have this more close. Again, the lashes. This eyes, obviously we have to move over here because it's halves, right? Maybe we need to adjust it. And this is just the sketch layer, by the way, so yeah. Solo C says thank you for hanging out, man. Now we have this one. Slowly opening her eyes, right? So again, maybe I don't have to keep that. Then I can just proceed with, you know, just drawing it over here. Trace my drawing, right? Getting hungry, guys. I haven't had dinner yet. You see, I'm gonna use the sketch layer here and there, but I don't have to, right? Like, I do have that kind of like knowledge of where I want my lines to be at. And sometimes I guess right now, right, I know the end and the ending and the starting position of each line, right? And yes, kind of makes sense that it's more trial and error. I wouldn't say call more trial and error, but like kind of just again, this is a very simple animation of in-betweens. Like I could kind of like make this animation look even better by adding like hair animation here and there, you know what I mean? But I don't want to I don't want that to be the focus, right? I want the focus of this video and this class is for um the in between, the process of in betweening, right? So yeah, my music is already over. We're gonna play that back. Sometimes with all this line, you don't really know where you wanna place your line, right? And that's why I really appreciate people doing in betweens. Like it's not an easy job, right? And yet they're getting paid less that like not a lot to do in betweens. So have a deeper appreciation for people who are doing in betweens. I was thinking really hard how I would animate this one, right? Um, Meaning how I really uh what kind of animation I'm gonna do to show the process of in betweening and timing charts, right? And I was running out of time, and I kind of just decided, you know what, let's do Nami. Just kind of trying to complicate it in my head, but what's important for me is to actually finish the video for Friday, right? Yeah, you guys are silent. Most of most of the people watching my stream are like silent. Oh, also we have super chat available already, man. Like, I'm not. Don't do super chat. Like, it would be nice if you guys donate, but you don't have to. I'm just saying. Uh, there's like, it's just a first time for me to have like a super chat over here, which is like amazing. But yeah, let's move on. Maybe I'll set a goal. Maybe. Still doing Genga, by the way, so these lines are still gonna be cleaned up later on. I don't know if it's gonna be cleaned up ever. I don't know if it's gonna be cleaned up ever, but what I'm saying is that these lines are not final. Not the final one that's gonna go into the animation if I am to create or produce this animation at some point, right? So over here, I kind of don't wanna bother. I'm just gonna copy these two lines over here, and then I'm just gonna do that, and then connect my point over here, and over here I just have to connect that point right there. Just make it thin so that it still follows that whole phi of that line, right? Again, it's a mixture of copy paste when you're doing this. Edit here and there, you know. Hey, what's up, the creator? I do, like, I teach animation. Hi, Kumar. This looks very difficult. Kind of. It's not difficult, it's just tedious, right? It's up to you, man. Like, it's up to you how you perceive work. It's fun. Actually, it's not that hard, man. It's tedious for sure. 100% it's tedious, man. I am not discrediting the whole. But uh, I used to do fan animation. Not use. I'm still doing fan animation, but right now I'm focusing on creating my, like, leveling up my skills with these teachings and all that stuff, right? You see, when you're done with the hair, or with the face and hair, where there's not a lot of lines to kind of like really see anymore, you kind of like tend to, like, everything gets easier by the time I reach the body, right? It's not that hard anymore. Because everything is clear. You can see everything, right? See, I missed this line over here, man. So now I have to turn off this one. Turn off this one. Kind of like. Yeah, there you go. Now I bring that back here so that I can see it. Yeah, limited animation. I love limited animation. I used to do limited animation curbles. Like, if you type in um, RJ animation, Mr. Beast, you'll find my work. RJ. My name is RJ, bro. That's my name. Why do you need to know my name, bro? You're funny. RJ doesn't have a meaning if that's what you're asking. RJ is just RJ, man. That's my real name. Ask my parents why there's no meaning on my name. That's what it is. This is why I love vector lines, guys. Because I could do this. You know, like, I could edit the lines and then do the in-betweens. If you're stuck using, what do you call this? Um, raster lines and whatnot. Hey Mikoto, how are you, man? Yeah, so I just put like a top chat over here. I just want to kind of like see there's anyone who would kind of like do a super chat and whatnot. You don't have to, but for those who want to this file, you can get like you I can send you this file if you are um if you do a super chat, and all you have to do is to kind of like send like join the Discord and then let me know like who you are and whatnot. Like let's see, I don't know, raster layers and yeah, RJ stands for nothing. It's literally just my name, man. Yeah, Clip Studio is so much easier to work with. 100% Nessa. Um, sorry, I'm just calling you straight up Nessa, bro. Um, we're doing in between, by the way, not keyframing. I did the I did the keyframing off stream earlier, so it's now smooth, man. Coming smooth and smooth and smooth. I like it. Yeah, I don't have my own Discord. Me and Kairegi just agreed that we're gonna run um the same Discord only because it makes no sense for us to, at least for me, like I don't know, right? Um like I'm not gonna ask you all of guys to just join my server and you know, like me and Kairegi are kind of like friends anyway, so I know we call it Kairegi's animation server, but like I hang out over there. I'm the sensei over there. I run the challenges over there, so you know that's how I kind of like that's how I see it, right? Mikoto. Like I mean, it's the same thing for me, right? But maybe like because I have my own Patreon and I really want to reward the people who are gonna be my Patreons, right? These few people over here. I may create my own Discord server, exclusive for the Patreon members, so that I could focus on helping those Patreon members, right? Because my goal is to help as much people in the animation industry to get started and whatnot. So like I don't know if I'll have the time to give feedback to every single one. That's why I'm kind of like just opening it up here and there, a little bit here and there, and just kind of like focus my attention to those who are actually like um who wants to learn, right? So obviously it's a Patreon membership. If you don't have to sign up from the Patreon, right? Like if you just want to like if you're getting value from my videos, all that stuff, that's fine, right? But you want to level up your skill, I'm gonna try my best to give you guys exclusive content, exclusive tutorials in the future, exclusive feedback, exclusive live stream for Patreon members. Right now I have 4 members, so I'm just giving them all the files, all the help I need, I can for them, right? But in the future I plan to kind of like just um mains make my Patreon like my focus, so I may create a separate Discord server for that, for paying members, right? So you see that flicker, because we don't have the other, like that's how the animation would move, right? So now we're doing this final frame, and yeah, that's what we're focusing on. Yeah, this is Nami. This is Nami. I've been drawing like most of my what do you call this, thumbnails have been um male characters from famous anime. So I kind of want to do something different right now. Also, I miss One Piece. Hello, Carbon. I saw your message on Discord. It alarmed me. I thought there's still a problem, but we're just doing in-betweens right now, man. I think I'm gonna copy this one and see if I could copy paste it like this and see how that looks like. Then maybe I'm gonna adjust it like that. Copy paste, right? No one's stopping you to copy paste, bro. Like, I'm telling you guys, if you're working in the industry, like, if you want to do it properly, that's fine. There's there's always like there's a way to do this properly but also not burning out, right? Yes, this is Nami. I'm definitely supporting your Patreon. Nessa, I would appreciate that. Um, but I'm only asking for like I would really appreciate that 100%, and I'm gonna try my best to help you. So, you know, like, and I'm not really like, it still feels weird to kind of like ask people for money and support you, you know, because I know for sure, if I'm being honest, we all have our own kind of like state in life, right? And but at the end of the day, we're all I'm trying to give like I'm trying my best to figure out because it needs to come both ways, right? Yes, I'm asking for your support, but I also have to give, like, I cannot just ask for your support. I need to give kind of like value to you guys for that support that I'm gonna get from you, right? Do you have a side job while doing this? Crazy Apple. I keep saying a while ago, I have a full-time job. My full-time job is an engineer. I draw lines all day, every day, designing roads, um, and that's my full-time job. Like, I clock out I work from home though, so that's great. But basically, what I'm saying is that, like, I have a full time job and I have to be in that job from 9 to 5. Like, I have to work my during that time, and I can't do really much a lot of things during that time. That's why um, the support would really help me. Because, like, if I'm being honest, I would love to quit my job at some point, but I wouldn't quit it because it's a high paying job as an engineer. Like, if I only have like if I'm only that's why I want Patreon support, so I could just focus this full time, right? Yeah. Mutual Art Network Toronto. Kumar. I don't know that that event, man. But sounds fun. Like, are you from Toronto, bro? Well, I'm a draftsman. I'm not an engineer. I am more of a um, designer, if that makes sense. But I work as an like I work for engineers. It's the same thing for me because I may not have a degree, but I still have like we build roads here in Toronto. So if you're from Toronto, don't blame me for the roads. I'm doing my best. My job is to make sure that you, like, the citizens of my city have good roads. So Kumar Vinja, you texted me. How did you get my number, bro? Or did you? I don't give my number from to just anyone though, so should I be scared that you know my number? Oh, you're good, bro. AA degree, I want to say thank you for motivating me to get. And what are you currently working on? Junpei Animates, we're working on in-betweening this animation by Nami. That's all. That's what we're doing right now. Oh, Instagram. Or let me see. I didn't see it, bro. Like, I haven't seen. Yeah, like, I don't see it. I don't see any requests. I don't have a request. Yeah, bro, I don't have a request, Kumar, bro. I don't see any requests over here. I would see it. I use Instagram fairly often. Just scrolling. Yellow, yeah, like I'll explain. So yellow is my matte. It's just a character, right? And then let's say let's go back over here. So the pink one is the shadow for the hair. The flesh is the shadow for the skin. The blue is the shadow for the clothes, right? The purple over here is the secondary shadows, which is it's a little bit more darker than the shadow of the clothes over here. And then the green is the secondary shadow for the skin, right? The yellow is the highlights. The red line are like hidden lines, right? That you won't really see anywhere. Yeah, I'm not a character designer though. Yeah, Toxin, sorry, I'm not character designer. So I don't know if I could make that video and make it worth it for you. So maybe when I become a character designer, I can make that video, but right now I'm not. So I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry. I cannot do a character design video because I'm not a designer. So I can't create videos that I don't not have a lot of knowledge of. That makes sense, because I wouldn't be able to say a lot about it, you know. I could try, but that wouldn't, like, there would be a lot more people suitable to teach character design, and you know, just go to Colosso if you want to be a character designer. Yeah, David Rivera, thank you. That's good. I did 10 folders before I adding another 10 for coloring. Yeah. Life of an animator, is it not? I try my best to answer everyone. So far, this chat, right now, you guys are chatting a lot, right? Just nice. I love it. Um, like for 21 viewers, like currently, um, it feels nice to like see the chat going, like to see people chatting, right? A while ago there were 30 people over here and there was like 10 minute silence, right? Some people are just shy, so don't worry. Like, I'm not worried about it, but it's definitely nice to see people chatting here and there, right? I really appreciate that. Like a year ago when I was doing this same thing, not animation related but still art related, I have 4 viewers, guys. Like I literally have 4 viewers, and I'm happy. I'm streaming like an hour a day or whatever. I'm happy with 4 viewers, man. Like I just work, but like I'm happier right now with a lot more viewers. So I appreciate you, all of you, man. I really do. It's an amazing feeling, man. To see like, oh, people support your work, all that stuff, you know. People appreciate the videos you create. People learn from the videos you create. It's nice. It's a nice feeling because now it kind of like validates that, yeah, I I can help people, you know. So it feels nice to help people. I try my best to help people, but obviously sometimes you cannot be in all places at the same time, right? Just try my best every day. That's all. What music can you use for public stream on YouTube? Any music by Kevin Leod, bro. David Rivera. Like different yeah, like my music right now is just Cool Cats by Kevin Leod. So yeah, man. It's, I know it's on repeat for you guys. I'm sorry if you hate this song. Somebody actually from before already kind of like commented how they hate my stream song, whatever. But man, that's the only song I could use, bro. Sorry, without having to deal with copyright strike or anything like that. So yeah, um, you don't know anything about how in the industry like different for line art colors and etc. Yes, carbon. Like it has to be different. Like you get used to it. It takes a while to getting used to it. But if you are really kind of like working in the industry, you kind of don't have a choice. That's how it's supposed to be. You know. Yeah, we're gonna finish this before I eat, which is nice. I like it. Because I'm really hungry right now. Kind of want to keep this ice, but now it's kind of like straighter. So I'm tracing it. We're almost hitting 1,000 views for this stream. So you guys are amazing. Just wanna say that, man. The reception for these videos are amazing. Can't thank you enough, man. I know what I did to deserve all the love I'm getting from you guys. I'm not complaining though, I love it. The reason why the eyes are kinda just half what do you call this? It's kinda like half, so I want that kinda like feeling of she's really mad, you know? Yeah, okay. Try Maple Story song. Like, is it Maple Story song or sorry, ignored. Is my no, like my my number is public on Instagram? That's crazy. Like, obviously I wouldn't answer someone who's just randomly texting me. Like, I don't know the number, right? So anyway, let's of course, we're planning to use version 4. Keep it been rather Junpei animation, yes. If like version 4, I'll just update Clip Studio Paint. Yes, I'll update that. I like it. Just wondering. Yeah, for sure. What about Maple Story BGM? Mikoto, like, is that I haven't heard that song, so maybe I could explore that. I see most people use it. I'll explore that for sure. I'm just curious whether it's you know, like copyright protected or not. So go get some food. You gotta eat. Yes, you may like, yes, definitely. Are you using two pixel brush? I'm using 4 and 6. It's not like a set. I have a sketch brush over here. Again, if you subscribe on my Patreon as a free member, you'll get all my tools, like all my basic tools. Basically, I have my sketch brush over there. I have the Doga line that I haven't used in front of the stream yet. Yes, I Junpei Animates. I do use a tour box for sure. How do you layer things in animation without inking it? Is it all in one layer, or there can be more than one line art layer? My line art are 4 line arts. One for the shadows, one for the dark. I use raster layer for my sketches, but now I'm just like doing an in-between, so I don't have to sketch for it, right? So I'm just copying the lines, right? Actually, I'm gonna copy paste this line because what I did earlier is I copy pasted that line, right? You just adjust. You don't have to redraw all the lines, man. I'm telling you. Animation take a while to learn. Is a rough world out there because of AI, but it's referring to other content like you to keep. Yeah, like, I don't care about the AI, you know, to be honest with you. Like, I'm gonna animate whether there's AI or not, because I learned from modern day James. Like he's my kind of like my mentor, and he talks about AI shit a lot. He talks shit about AI a lot, but basically what I'm saying is that if you're having fun doing something, why would you know why would you why would you be concerned about AI, right? AI has nothing to do with you having fun animating. I'm having fun animating and making YouTube videos about my animations. So I'm not gonna stop doing that just because there's AI. I don't really think about AI at all. You know what I mean? That's my philosophy, right? What, like, obviously you gotta think about job and whatnot, but and I'm in a different kind of like setting, where I do have a full-time job that pays the bill for me, right? Which means this is, I would consider this as a hobby, right? That I'm just trying to get some sort of, um, obviously, I want this to be my full-time gig, but that's not gonna stop me from, like, AI has nothing to do whether or not I can do this full-time or not, right? That's why I'm on YouTube, because I can post something on YouTube, earn some money, like for you guys watching videos or not, right? These are too close of a line, so maybe my best bet is to actually no, I'm gonna do my best to draw this line over here, even though it's kind of like, why would I be afraid of AI? That's my thinking. Yeah, you may get your job, but yeah, fuck AI. You love drawing, you're gonna do it anyway. And it's a matter of whether or not, okay, if you're concerned about getting money from it, like, if you get good enough, you don't need. You see, there's a AI. A person who can't draw will use AI to see and tell them that they're gonna be creative. Oh, look at this drawing that I did with AI and whatnot. Obviously, it's gonna look like shit. Like, it's gonna look like it's gonna look like how it's gonna look like, right? But the more people do that, and the less people actually animating like this, like we are, and then the more, basically, the more valuable your skills will be, because you are basically, like, there's only a few people doing this anymore, that a lot of people will use AI, right? So, like, just keep going, just keep animating, just keep improving your skill, right? um and then by the time that AI is actually relevant and that it can animate, then your value as a freelance, a freehand animator will increase. Oh, I did that line really smoothly. Let's see if I could draw this line. Oh, perfect. I did that line perfectly, man. Just have to adjust that a little bit here. Thank you. I watch all my unit. Please, I have how to coloring animation 2 second video. Please film a video with coloring and shading. Yeah, definitely. My plan is to, again, there's, guys, I will do all, like, anything that has, how I say this, I will do my best to teach you everything I do for animation, right? But it's gonna take time, because I have a full-time job, and, like, these videos take time. So just be patient. Eventually I'll get to it. So, you know, right now we're doing in-betweens. I'm gonna do an in-between video. I haven't typed the script, but I will. We'll type the script and record the video and edit the video, and then you guys will see it on Friday or the weekend. If I finish it on Friday, you get it on Friday. If I don't, then you get it over the weekend. Thank you, Eunice. Subscribe. Thank you, Last Freeman. How do you know unless you go what to do with the timing unless you go with the flow? Well, the timing sometimes, gosh, you guys are 36 people over here, crazy man. Anyway, the timing, like there is a method being used by professional animators, which is the stopwatch method, right? The stopwatch method is like you grab a stopwatch and then act out the animation or the action you're taking, and then you're gonna just tell, oh, animation, you know, that's how long it will take that for the animation. um but that's also the reason why, if you don't want to do that, that's also the reason why you want to kind of like just freehand drawing, like don't tie down your drawing right away, freehand your drawing, and like do rough animation as best as you could, and that's the only way you can basically figure out, because now you have a lot of room to do trial and error, right? So now we're done. Now we're done, right? Am I happy with my animation? You see, we're missing a lot of like details in certain lines, right? This is what happens when you kind of like, when you do this one. Oh, I forgot the line over here, right? I have this line over here, but now I don't have that, these two lines over here. Do I have to do that line, right? I don't know. But I'm looking at this drawing individually. You see, now I have the timing right, right? So, what I'm trying to think right now is that maybe I'll adjust the timing again. I'll adjust the timing to the original, because this is how you animate in twos. I held off this frame in for half a set for 6 frames, kind of like it's, I'm holding it off before I get animated, but it's too fast. The animation too fast. It's not as dramatic as maybe I slow down the animation and do it in trees, right? So maybe I'll delete the track label over there. Yeah, so this animation is a little bit, it's not as smooth as the other one, but it's more dramatic for me. And maybe if I animate it in trees, I can still probably hold that first frame a little bit so that it's more dramatic. Now you're adjusting the timing, right? But again, it depends on the cut that you're making, right? So the last frame, like I have all of that information over here, so you guys can see that there's two keyframes, right? The one that's colored and the one that's not are the ones that are basically not keyframes, right? So this is my animation. Like it, I like it. Could I still improve? 100%. You know, like 100%, I could still make this good, make this look good. You know, 100%, man. I could make this animation, but my whole point is to just discuss this whole concept about um, timing charts, which is this one over here, right? And we use the ease out, ease in over there, and using three drawings, three in between drawings, right? now I kind of want to challenge myself, right? So it's still early for me, so like we are at almost 3. Oh, I started streaming at um 3, like 7 p.m. I thought I started streaming at 6 p.m. Wow. Anyway, sometimes used in the industry. Yes, it's sometimes used in the industry. Um, but sometimes you like I've seen it, but it's always kind of mixed with once after like you hold the frame. Like sometimes you have a frame that's being held like longer, right? So right now I kind of want to challenge myself and kind of do the shadows for this. Um, just do the whole thing over here, but for this drawing, and I'm not gonna go by with the in betweens and whatnot. I just want to kind of like show you guys how I do it for the shadows, right? Like so, I'm gonna have this one. So I'm gonna have to delete this one first so that I could see like the frames, right? Maybe if I even no, it's not gonna be halves anyway, right? I know I'm using it this way. And this is not the most optimal way to do it, by the way. I'm just flipping for the shadows um to see which makes sense, right? But this is not how you're supposed to do it when you're doing in between, by the way. Like, I just want to make that clear. And I just want to make it look presentable. That's why I want to add these shadows. Full video clip coloring, especially. Like, do you live a video clip? I will eventually, not today because I'm just focusing on in betweens, right? Like, eventually, I will do it. Don't worry, man. Like you, I will do it. Be patient, man. Like I mean, I'm not the also keep in mind, guys. I'm not the only one teaching animation. So there's a lot of people you can learn from. Like Tonico Pantoja. Like there's a lot of people doing animation um tutorials. So like don't be afraid to check them out. And then like I'll do a live session here and there, but it's only when like it's only gonna be when I have time to do it, right? I won't be able to do it if I don't have the time. And that's why I feel like I want to do this every day, but I can't because of my job, right? So the more you guys support me and all that stuff, um, the more I'll be able to kind of like, you know, make that make more videos for you, make it more of a reality. Again, only if you have the means. Oh, see, I made a mistake here. I have a habit of kind of like deviating away from my lines a little bit. Getting hungry, guys. I may eat very, very soon. Just saying. I just wanna finish this one. Also, I wanna. There's only 23 people left for 1,000 views for this kind of like video, so it'll be great to do. You could use any color for Gengar. You technically, I don't want to say any, but there's a guide, right? Blue is usually used for shadows, you know. Let me make sure that I'm. Blue is usually used for shadows. And then what do you call this? Yellow for highlights. All that rules that you might kind of like. It's not just any. That's what I'm trying to say. It's not just any. There's a kind of like a way. So it really depends on whether like what like the thing is what's your animation gonna be about, right? If you're only doing it for yourself, then that's fine. You can use whatever you want. Because you're the one who's gonna clean it up anyway. As long as you understand your work, then that's fine. I'm also skipping a lot of the things that will make this animation a little bit better, which is the hair animation. Like I don't want to focus on that right now. I just want to focus on kind of like making sure that you guys would know more about the in-betweening process, all that stuff. Because like under the in-between, process, there are kind of like there's an overarching method as well that people use in the industry, right? Like I think I'm interested in learning about how hair works in the meaning like how it's like the animation and all that stuff, right? It's mostly done on like this is what I was saying about this animation not being complete because I'm not doing secondary action like the hair. But definitely that would be on another layer, right? Um, and that's it. It's supposed to be on another layer so that you could see um, how that moves because you don't have to repeat the drawing if you've already done it. Let's say the face and the head. Um, like if you've already done the face and the head, the animation for that is it doesn't require um, you don't have to repeat the drawing anymore, right? See, I'm missing that line, guys. Make sure you don't miss some lines. I'm hungry. I'm about to eat soon, by the way. Just letting you guys know. There you go. Now we bring back that one. And now we have like, oh shit, I forgot. Maybe this animation could take, I mean, more than a second. What do you mean offline, Lucifer? Yeah, I think I'm gonna do it this way. Yeah, I'm gonna eat soon, and I'm gonna call it a night. Thank you guys for watching. It's already 10, so like I need to eat definitely. Again, I really shout out to my Patreon members: Ryan Blanc, Tristan M, Ryu, Mark for Art. Your name will be posted on the next video. And then I thank you guys, and then hopefully, obviously, you're gonna receive all the animation. My file, this particular file, you're gonna receive. Together with the file, this one, you're gonna receive this one for your own like references. And yeah, like this, the two, yeah, see, 2 clip studio file for Friday for my Patreon members, right? So if you're a Patreon member, you will get those files. If you don't want to be a Patreon member, I also sell these files in Gumroad, but you have to wait until end of month, because it doesn't make sense for me to sell it for less than $5, right? So thank you, Volks. Thank you guys for watching. I'm gonna have to eat soon. I appreciate you. I appreciate everyone here. Man, like 30 people watching this video, a thousand people. We've reached 1,000 views in less than like 4 hours, right? So I'm like, that's amazing for me, man. Like, you guys are champions for just kind of like hanging around with me and all that stuff. Like I can't thank you guys enough. So thank you guys, and I'll see you guys next time. Watch out for this video on Friday. Stop streaming.